Why Jamie Dimon's sale of $150 million in JP Morgan stock could be a reason for caution. Market Watch. JP Morgan and CNN dumped $150 million. The CEO dumped $150 million in company stock Thursday in the first ever sale. Dimon sold 821,800 shares of the company at an average price of $182. Have been hitting all-time highs in recent days, so it's unclear if these are triggers, or if the plan was arranged for sales based on timing, wrote Ben Silverman, the vice president, recent at the Variety Data. He noted in his report that a review of the stock's daily chart brings up some questions as to whether trigger prices were employed. Dimon selling the stock on the first day ever that JP Morgan shares were traded at $182. He highlighted, and then et cetera, a couple other things here. By the way, Bezos sold, Rob, if you can type this up, just type in Jeff Bezos, $2 billion, shares 3 times, okay? $2 billion, shares 3 times. Check this out. You're right there. Zoom in. Jeff Bezos sells more than $2 billion of Amazon stock for the 3rd time this month in February, okay? Why? What do you need to sit on $6 billion of cash on? Of course, you're going to pay, 23% taxes, depending on how many days of the year you lived in. If you're doing it in February, you're moving to Florida, you're probably going to end up saving. How much money is he going to save, Tom? I don't know what the taxes are in wherever he's at. I think he's in Washington.
Yeah, Washington had capital gains tax.
So capital gains tax, I don't know. Can you check Washington Gates capital tax? Washington State capital tax, so $6 billion. At 7%.
7% above $250,000. I think he'd be above that.
Yep. So that's about $420 million he saves if he lives, give or take, 181 days out of the year in Florida. I think. I'm not a tax specialist. You can verify that with somebody that's a tax specialist. But do you think, sometimes stocks are sold and they're like, oh, look what's going on. And they're like, no, this guy had it in the plan that every quarter on the first of the month, he was going to sell a stock. There's nothing to read into here. Bill Gates, I think, did this with Microsoft a few years ago, if you remember that. And we didn't we're like, oh, okay, cool, not a big deal. But in this case, it's different. $2 billion 3 times. Jamie Dimon sells that. Are they worrying for an event that's coming, or no, it's over-exaggeration, they just need some cash?
So let's split this in half. Jeff Bezos, I can't predict that, but Jamie Dimon, it must have been a boring day at Market Watch, and they had to make something out of this. Dimon last year disclosed the plan to sell. That disclosure would have had to legally been made on what's called a Form 4, where insiders, CEOs, and people who have a lot of stock have to file the form and say, I intend to sell, here's when, and they don't have to say why. And he said openly last year, he said, hey, it was for diversification and tax planning purposes. So last year, he would have had to file the Form 4 with the SEC, and he expected Dimon to start selling near this time as the cooling off period for his trading plan lapse. So what that meant was trading plan? What trading plan? The one that he wrote on the Form 4, where he said a year ago, hey, I'm going to start selling shares. Normally it works like this. Can you go look at, Rob, when did JP Morgan announce earnings? I'd be willing to bet they announced, right? It's normally what happens after you announce earnings. There's about a 2-week period, Pat, where a CEO can have the Form 4 automatically trigger. On the 5th trading day, allowing for any holidays, I will be trading at the opening of the market, scheduled to, before the opening of the market, and this is when the trade will take place. Once you file the Form 4, you cannot manipulate or time it. You have to withdraw the Form 4 and file another one. So Dimon a year ago said, this is when I'm selling, and everybody's reacting to it. What are they doing? He could be making a tax plan for his
Got it. So in other words, this is not a big deal. He's just selling shares.
No.
Now, Bezos selling $2 billion 3 times in a month, what does that mean?
That says to me that either he's about to invest in something or he's about to do something. Because Bezos is good. He went out and bought a newspaper. I think this means that Bezos is pulling a war chest together to go do something. That's what I think.
So, but why do you do $2 billion 3 times? Why not do $6 billion? What's the difference between 2 times 3 versus just 6?
He may not have been able to move it.
Okay, got it. It's just the size of the money.
The volume of a trading day.
And that makes sense because of consistency. So $2 billion is the most he could sell on any given day. Got it. Do you foresee there being more $2 billion sales by this guy, or?
The more there are, the more you think that maybe he's got his eyes on buying something else. Remember, he came out of nowhere and bought that newspaper.
So it's got nothing to do with their worries about the interest rates going higher and what could happen with the market, and maybe the rates are not going to be decreased. Maybe there could be an event. That's not something you're even speculating.
No, I'm not worried. I'm not speculating about that at all. Jamie did it, part of a plan. Bezos is doing it, I think, to build a war chest.
How much do you think this have to do with age? Hear me out. Well, we've heard the term insider trading. There's another term called insider selling, which is not necessarily illegal or even a bad thing per se. What's where you think that maybe the stock price is going to underperform, so you start to begin to liquidate your shares. It's a slippery slope. What's going to happen there? But when it comes to age, 67 years old, right? Bezos is 60, so he's a little bit younger. The average age of a Fortune 500 CEO, I think, is in their mid-50s, 55, 57. How much of this is just retirement planning? He's 67 years old. He doesn't want to see a crater in the stock price, and he just wants to liquidate and have some cash on hand and put it in bonds or in T-bills, and he just wants to... I know that he bought a place in Miami. He bought it at a place right there on 15th and Ocean. I know that. How much of this is just retirement planning, Tom?
Possibly. There's rumors out there that he's got a retirement plan in place and a transition plan that'll be either age 72 or age 75. And most people are banking on it being 72, and he's going to be executive chairman until he's 75. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, and he said, Adam, it's for financial diversification and tax planning purposes. When you're about to retire is usually when you talk about
because they've made so much money. He's like, all right, let me take some chips off the table and just put some cash in my pocket.
And you also don't know, Dimon is also quietly philanthropic, and he's also very quietly one of the top 20 art collectors in the world. So,
well, and by the way, this isn't in my ballpark, but when you said insider trading, first person that jumped in my head was Nancy Pelosi. I remember, was it last week that she banked $1.4 million days from the NVIDIA stock option trade?
Yeah, if they still own it, their paper gain is exactly as you said.
Yeah, and then, well, this is weird. 2 weeks ago, Congress was briefed on a national security threat, and the same week, this is insider, this is for just a stock tip for everybody, the same week, Pelosi bought $1.25 million of the cybersecurity company Palo Alto Network. So in full disclosure today, this is a couple days ago, Monday, the U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi reported the purchase of up to $1.25 million of Palo Alto Network's call options in trade that took place February 12th and the 21st. Members of Congress have traded that stock 10 times in the past 6 months. Of those trades, 7 have been purchased and 3 have sales. Guys, that's a go for it. If she's doing it, trust me, it's gonna work.
Well, there's a whole, I think, Reddit page out there or TikTok page that just follows all her moves. By the way,
the winner.
Not to be a coincidence theorist.
Oh, here we go.
But what district is she in?
Where is she? San Francisco.
How about that? Palo Alto.
Yeah, weird. You don't think she's an insider?
She's in Berkeley, which is the other side of the Bay Area, but it's all the same.
So just letting you guys know that might be an option for you guys. We'll check on that stock in a week.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.